So, my name is cet-project.eu. I come from Greece and I am the representative of MOVIT, a non-profit civil partnership, an NGO located in Thessaloniki. So, actually, my background is a bit different. I am a lawyer. I have been a legal advisor for more than 15 years. But in the recent years, I have been also involved in the youth sector, and now I'm a full-time trainer, facilitator and youth worker. The burning question is all about the legal aspect, let's say, and I understand that this appears somehow complicated or frustrating or an unknown field, for example. But it is something very important that we always need to take care when we're talking about external communication, using different data and trying to develop outputs and products related to our work. Unfortunately, it is complicated, but still there are certain rules that everybody can follow and youth organizations should keep in mind in order to be sure that they respect certain rules, provisions and legal frameworks. To start with, for example, one case should be when we develop certain outputs, certain products, and we are using information that exists online. Even if we find this information online, we still are obliged to use the references and mention the sources where we took this information, where we're borrowing this information from. It's very important to keep it in mind that we need to respect the copyrights. It is a very complex situation, but as long as we remember to mention all the sources where we take the information from, and when I talk about information, I don't only refer to the content, to the text, but also to the photos, to the pictures we are using, to some graphics we are using. All of this is considered under the legal framework of the copyright. So it's important to mention it, and even better to have this list of sources, of references in the end of every intellectual output we are producing, to make sure that we do not engage into any legal troubles. Another form is, of course, what is related to the personal data of the people engaged in our activities, in our work. For instance, if we're doing a networking event, or we're doing some advocacy meeting, or we're trying to have a campaign to attract young people or other stakeholders, it is important to keep in mind that the personal data we collect of these people should be protected at any time. And by saying protected, I don't only mean to be sure that they're not, let's say, embarrassing, or they're not shared with third parties or anything, but I also mean that we have to be sure that we have received their explicit consent about the use of this personal data. Personal data could be the name, can be the surname, can be the age, but can also be the picture of the face of the person. When we're taking photos, for example, and we're willing to share these photos online and make a campaign or use some photos from our past activities, we have to be very specific when we are collecting this information, when we are collecting this process, this input, when also we are storing, when we are using, and when we are reusing this personal data. Let's say, for example, that we are having this nice event and a lot of young people come around and we have asked for their permission to take their photos. We have to be very specific and very clear how we are going to use these photos. Are we going to use them only now for our social media to show what is happening? Or are we keeping them and using them later in our newsletter or in some other social media campaign that we are going to take? So I know that it's very detailed and very sensitive, and this is the reason why we should be as clear as possible. We don't necessarily have to have extraordinary legal knowledge about this, but the common sense and a few basic rules related to privacy and to protection of personal data is necessary, especially in external communication.